And you are back with comedian David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. So if you hear some excitement in my voice, it's because I got knocked off early today from work. An absolute blessing, because it was a fucking grind up until we left. But something happened with the water on the site. The water got cut off. And you can't be in the tunnel without fucking running water, according to the union. So get out of the tunnel and go home, cunts. So I left at 1 and here I am, fucking enjoying life. Now I get to enjoy my life for the next couple of weeks. I wanted to do that fucking Bitcoin thing today, but I haven't been paid yet. And I don't want to spend all night doing this podcast. I want to get it done. I want to get it behind me. And I want to enjoy my family, my wife and my daughter, before me and my son head off for 2 weeks. So I'll do it on Wednesday or Thursday. I'll do it one of the days I'm in Spain. While my son's training, I'll get it all sorted. Anyway, while we were waiting for the fucking management to call the day off, I was scrolling through my phone, and what did I see? I saw Conor McGregor at the White House. The cokehead fucking rapist got invited to the White House to discuss, I don't know what the fuck he's discussing, but he did this little press conference thing beforehand, and he's talking about Ireland being overrun by immigrants, which is understandable because a lot of the Western countries at the moment are being overrun by immigrants. But I liked when he said how much of a problem it is and how America should back Ireland up. And then he goes, well, he was talking about how some of the rural towns in Ireland the Irish have become a minority in one foul swoop. And then he goes, the 40 million, that's right, the 40 million Irish Americans need to hear this. The 40 million fucking leprechauns that have left Ireland and spread their seed over in America need to hear this. He's like, the 40 million Irish Americans need to hear this, otherwise there'll be no place to go home to. What are you talking about? Are you saying the Irish have immigrated outside of Ireland? What, the Irish left and populated the entire world? Do you mean the rural fucking towns in Ireland have been overrun by immigrants in one foul swoop, just like Bondi Junction and Randwick and Coogee in Sydney by pasty white Irish? Is that what you're talking about? Are you talking about not wanting immigrants in your country, just like nobody wanted the fucking Irish when they started immigrating? You think people wanted fucking violent, angry, drunk Irish cunts in their country? Nobody wanted that. Nobody wants that still now. The 40 million Irish Americans. How the fuck did they get over there? Why did you leave Ireland? Because it was a shithole up until about fucking 18 years ago. There was no immigration problem in Ireland 18 years ago because it was a fucking dump. No one wanted to move there. The Irish were fleeing. And when the Irish were fleeing, they didn't give a fuck. They were like, see you later. My great-grandparents were Irish, both sides. They never went back. They left Ireland. There was no potatoes left, and it was cold, and it was shit, and fucking people were stabbing each other with beer fucking glasses. And they were like, fuck that. I'm going to New Zealand, and I'm going to be an alcoholic in New Zealand, and I'm going to be an alcoholic in Australia, and I'm going to become a criminal, violent alcoholic in these countries. And the people were like, hey, we don't need this many violent, alcoholic fucking Irish. My whole town is Irish now. We had a peaceful town and now everyone's an alcoholic, violent gangster. I looked it up. There's 6 million Irish in Ireland. And the Irish Diaspora, which is people ethnically Irish around the world, is 80 million. The Irish have genetically modified the populations of the world more than any other fucking country. They're just a tiny little fucking island out there. Where did these 80 million ethnically Irish people come from? I'm ethnically Irish and Polish. And I don't think those two like each other. I think the Polish went over to Ireland and undercut everyone. But it is a problem because the immigrants do go to the country and steal all the jobs, just like the Irish came to Australia and now they steal all the fucking union jobs in fucking Victoria and Melbourne. And it's almost impossible to get a fucking union job unless you're an Irish cunt. Is that what you're talking about? Is that the immigration you're talking about? I don't think you understand how many fucking Irish are here. I work with like 40 Irish cunts. There's 30 Filipinos and 40 Irish. My next door neighbor 2 doors down, who my kids play with their kids, he's Irish. My dad's best mate from fucking worked with him for 30 years. He's Irish. There's Irish fucking everywhere. It's a scourge. We need to work on the Irish problem. Has anyone fucking thought about that? Has anyone thought about deporting the Irish back to Ireland? Have any of the Irish who have left Ireland thought about going back and helping the Irish out? Or are you pretty happy in Bondi Junction? Are you pretty happy in Sydney? Or are you pretty happy working for $85 an hour on the union sites in Australia when you could be earning $13 back home? The Irish complaining about immigration, it's a bit rich. It's very rich. But I fully understand why the Irish are pissed. I don't understand why Conor McGregor's pissed. Can that cunt just fuck off? Can we get someone, like, who's a legitimate Irish person? No one I know from Ireland likes Conor McGregor anymore anyway. I don't know why the fuck he's talking to anyone. He's not talking for the people. He's talking for himself. He lives in Monaco. Shut up, McGregor. Oh, go back to fucking Ireland then. Irish. Do you know what the Irish do out here? The Irish don't want to go back to Ireland so bad that they work for 6 months in a rural part of Australia for basically slave labor so they can get an extra year visa to live in Australia and earn a shitload of money. Having said all that, mass immigration, the way all the Western countries are doing it, is only done for the purpose of divide and rule. It's not for any other reason than when the shit hits the fan, you're going to need someone to blame, and people aren't smart enough to blame the politicians, the people in charge, the powers that be, the elites, the Illuminati. No one's going to look that deep into it. They're just going to look left and right, and they'll see a brown guy and they'll see a guy with kind of googly eyes and assume that's a Polish cunt. And they'll just start fucking going at each other. It's classic divide and rule. As soon as the economy starts fucking up, it's always a diversion. The stock market's down 20% and all you'll see is something about some race. Arabs, Muslims, Indians. It won't be Jews. Jews are never the problem. They're suffering under insane amounts of anti-Semitism at the moment. Some of them have even had to fucking put their curly sideburns into a ponytail and pretend they're not Jewish. That's how bad it's got. They've had to put a peak on their yarmulke and pretend it's a fucking baseball fucking hat. But watch, every single time the stock market goes down, and then the news will start pumping out some Arab guy did something, Indian mass immigration, people can't get houses, and it's all true, but the people that move there aren't the problem. The people who let them in are the problem. Because just like fucking the last 200 years where Irish were fleeing Ireland for better places, that's all other people are doing. But when you open the floodgates, it's going to cause problems. But the people who walk through the gates aren't the fucking problem. It's the people who left the gates open. And who did that? Exactly. Anyway, I hope the 80 million ethnically Irish living overseas get to hear Conor McGregor's speech so they can do something about it. Anyway, fucking that'll do for tonight, and I'll see you the fuck later.